Okay, I feel a little bit better now. Let's go back and talk about Ron Playford and Ron Coker. Ronald Playford. He was a good guy. Like I said earlier that he was just about ready to rotate. Well, rotate means going back to the world. That means he's almost done his tour. 13 months over there, and he was about ready to go back to the world, and yet they still had him out in the bush because he knew a lot. He knew how to stay alive, and he didn't really want to leave his men. So I mean, he didn't play sick or anything like that to go back to the rear. So I mean, he was a hell of a guy. I mean, that good Marine. That's Ron Coker. Ron Coker been there, and he knew how to walk for it. And uh, he 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 was from Elias, Nebraska. Uh, I didn't really just hang with him or anything, and but uh, the, for about I'd say 3 minutes, the time it took to try to save Playford, Ron Coker was the bravest man I'd ever seen in Vietnam. And uh, when we was carrying them back, and uh, Joe Jara squad come out, and they gave us a hand carrying the two Marines back. And once we got back to Firebase Alpine, we were told to write everything we saw down that they was going to put in Ron Coker for the Medal of Honor. Well, we went ahead, we wrote everything down. We dated the day we saw it, and what we saw happen exactly in our own words, and we handed it in to the squad leader, and we never heard nothing else about it. The next month, I believe that Tiny or Gifford Foley got the Silver Star for what he did. Uh, Tiny ended up being going to the same college that George Bush did, and they were good friends. And Tiny, I don't know exactly what year it was, but I understand that he was killed in a plane crash. That he crashed his plane. But let's go forward a little bit. It was about 1990, and I forget where I was working. I guess I was still working with the city of Hughes Springs. But I had just about to sit down for supper and got a phone call from the Veterans Administration and asked me if I was Jimmy Murphy, and I said, yes, I am. And the lady, she asked me if I knew Ronald Playford and Ronald Coker, if I remembered them from Vietnam. And I said, well, it seems like, yeah, I remember them. Both of them got killed, matter of fact. And she said, that's correct. Ronald Coker was from Alliance, Nebraska, and somebody had went in there and tore his grave up, or his headstone, and the family got a hold of the veterans to see about another headstone, and the Veterans Administration looked up and they found that he had won the Medal of Honor, and they wanted they were going to have a big deal of it, and they wanted somebody that was with him to come up and talk. Well, at that time I was running 7 trucks hauling explosives for the government, and I just didn't think I'd have the time, and I never did go up there. But I kind of regretted it wished I had him to speak about him and tell everybody what a hero he really was. But anyway, I didn't go, and kind of regretted it. But I forgot what year it was. Me and my wife went up to Nebraska. We met Doc Hoppy, Lieutenant Hoffman, Gerald Blink, J.C. Bannell, and Joe Jara. We all was up there for a dedication to Ron Coker Lane. They named the street after him. They put a federal graveyard there, and they named the street Ron Coker Lane. And we was there for that dedication, and it was great. That's the end of this one. I'll get back to Vietnam here in a minute. Bye bye.